This video provides a brief overview of the Natrium reactor that I promised in my Hey, What's Coming Up video, so let's get right to it. So I put on the screen here, you see the brochure from Terrapower. Couple of key points for the purposes of what I am going to be looking at is that it is a privately held company run by Bill Gates, backed by General Electric and Bechtel. So you recognize those names, no doubt. That's a good start, if you will. So another key point here is this reactor. They are actually building, or at least the start of a build of the first one in Wyoming. That project is being cost shared with the US government. It's for $4 billion price tag. So it's not a small project and it's got real finances and people behind it. So far, this looks like a real reactor for me to take a look at. Perhaps in the future, I'll get into a more technical description of it. There are a number of them out there online, but key points for the purposes of what I'm going to be looking at is it's supposed to be a cheaper reactor, and it's going to do that because it's got a separation between power generation and the reactor function. Not going to go into great detail here, but that does seem to be a real thing. It does this by virtue of having a liquid sodium system. So, without diving into all the technical elements of that, it's a real pro from a point of view of heat conduction and not needing as high a pressure. It does come with some risks in terms of it's been done in the past, but maintaining a molten salt reactor has proven to be challenging because it's very corrosive. So, they've addressed those issues, but that's why you need to build the first of its kind, which is going up in Wyoming. So some other things their sheet highlights there is it's supposed to have a better burn of the uranium. It's supposed to be more compatible with renewables because it's going to have this heat storage tank that will act to a certain extent like a battery. From my initial economic review of the project, that storage ability and the ability to charge peak pricing is something that could make this reactor very good candidate in the future. That's not something all reactors, big and little, have. A couple other items in there. They're highlighting that they have a 36-month build. Big problem from nuclear has been how long it takes to build and how much it costs to build. So their idea of splitting the campus and having half of it not having to build to nuclear standards, it sounds promising. Proof's in the pudding because construction costs for everything, even nuclear, it goes up. The other aspect there is the lifespan. Now, I'm only going to use 30 years in my analysis to start with. They're citing it could go as long as 80. It is not unusual for reactors to go 50 or 60 years. So 30 is a very conservative number, and I may revisit that. 80 is also, I would consider, a very optimistic number, at least for the first few reactors. So this is the basic reactor that we're talking about here in terms of power output. It's at the high end of the small reactors. As I mentioned in my other video, it's gotten some sponsorship from Facebook for 6 follow-on reactors. So it's a real project, and it really deserves a really deep look. So that's why I'm making it the topic for my Penn State study. Let me know what you think, and I'm going to follow this with a video on just general issues people have with small modular reactors before I start diving into the numbers. That'll be in a few days.